Neonics, what they brought is a whole new level of precision and specificity to insects.
Highly toxic substance called neonicotinoids, which are a systemic neurotoxin that actually becomes part of the plant.
It's a potential death call for the bee.
3 times the lethal dose to kill a bee.
It has been associated as one stressor, and a significant one, with the loss of pollinators and bees. Most European countries were involved in a 2-year ban. France has just voted to make that permanent. There's similar legislation before some states like Minnesota. What we're doing is actually not a ban. It's a managed reduction in neonicotinoids, working with farmers, with scientists, with beekeepers, with people who are looking at the integrity of ecosystems.
It is the best tool that we've had as an insecticide to protect our crops.
If we put it on 5 million acres every year, we're going to have problems. It's going to kill insects. And if they want to argue that it doesn't kill insects, then it's not a very effective pesticide. Why use it at all?
The science is not substantiated that says that a reduction in the amount of treated acres of corn and soybean is going to solve what is a perceived problem.
There's extreme views on both sides of this. I mean, you have large economic interests, the billions of dollars in revenues from the pesticide industry.
Our members strive to create the safest, most effective products for farmers. Some of our member companies are multinationals, such as Bayer Crop Science, Syngenta, Dow, Monsanto. Sustainability is in our very DNA.
It was never approved for large-scale prophylactic use. The EPA never approved it to put it on 90% of cornfields in the United States or 99% of cornfields in Ontario. And so had there been greater rigor up front, we probably would not be in the situation we're in now.
There is no company that will sell a product if they feel it's causing adverse effects to the environment. I mean, that is proven over time. That's why there's a lot of products that never see the light of day. It's why we have the registration process that we have in Canada. Products that we use on the farm are more tested than pharmaceutical drugs because we have to know what happens in the environment. There's a growing anger in the countryside with farmers who are, by any measure that we use today, it doesn't matter what measure you're using, we're producing the safest food supply in the history of mankind.
We're seeing farmers being made the scapegoat for this issue.
We don't blame farmers. Farmers, many times, have been told by the pesticide company that this will not impact the environment. And sorry, it does.
The bee numbers continue to climb exponentially across the country.
It's become a political battle, and it's a political decision from our perspective.
My job is to make sure that the process is clear, transparent, fair, and evidence-based. I also listen to the environmental commissioner who reports to the whole legislature, and his research team, which is independent of all the politics and all the economic interests, has advised me that I should be acting thoroughly with this and in time to avoid irreversible damage, not just to bees, but to water invertebrates, amphibians, wild pollinators.
The practices that we've adopted as an industry over the last number of years are actually improving the environment. As farmers and as industry, we've seen that these regulations are taking us in a direction that's dramatically backwards. And the one thing that we are not being heard about is the fact that that is actually going to be more detrimental to the environment and the species that we see on a day-to-day basis.
Political pressure and questionable science, that is going to have an impact long-term on the availability of new innovative products, absolutely. And without those companies, farmers would not have the capacity to produce the food that they do today. And we've got to produce much more food over the next few decades to feed the growing population.
It's like me trying to convince people to eat less honey, I guess. It's not in their interest of profit.